father yells at me a lot. He curses me a lot most of the time for no reason at all. He used to hit me when I was a child. I'm suffering from PS or from PTSD because of him. If I try to avoid him, he gets very angry. Is it permissible to leave such a father? This is problematic. And unfortunately, it is reoccurring in a lot of the Muslims' homes, not only with their father, but also with their mother. And some would be having problems with their in-laws, whether a father-in-law or a mother-in-law. The answer to this query is divided into two types. One, an advice to the parents. You have to fear Allah Azza wa Jal. It is true that Allah has given you powers over your children. It is true that Allah has instructed your children to be dutiful, obedient, and respectful. Nevertheless, do not think for a second that Allah Azza wa Jal will not hold you accountable for your abuse, for your unfairness, for not being just with your children, for yelling at them without any reason, for mistreating them for no apparent reason. Do not think for a second that Allah Azza wa Jal would not hold you accountable. Allah will. So do not force your children to be disobedient. It's haram. This is unfair because you're pushing them to sin. Fear Allah Azza wa Jal. Be fair with them, be just with them, and try to put yourself in their shoes with your parents and how you were acting at that time. The second part of the advice would be for the children themselves. First of all, people are tested with different types of tests. One would ask, why did Allah Azza wa Jal put us in the first place on earth? The answer is to worship Him. And part of worshiping Allah Azza wa Jal is that we are tested. Do people think that they will be let alone without being tested? No, they will be tested, so it would be apparent who is dutiful, obedient, and who is not. Now, having said that, there are people you and I know about that are tested by various types of tests. If you look at our brothers and sisters all over the world, they are displaced, kicked out of their own homes. Some of them are tested by losing a loved one to murders, genocide, rapes. Some of them even go further to try and find an honest and honorable way of life, and they cross the sea and drown. Some of them are tested by famine and droughts. Some are tested by cancer, different types of diseases and epidemics. Some suffer greatly through hunger and illnesses, and suffer even greater when they see their loved ones dying in front of them because of such calamities. Your test that Allah has chosen for you is your father, who's abusive, who hits you, who curses you. Would you like to take any of the previously mentioned calamities to be your own test instead? Would you like to take it instead of what you're suffering at the moment? Definitely not. Therefore, you have no choice other than being tolerant, being patient, being respectful to your father, not arguing with him, not provoking him to do or say things that may result in you answering him back and him becoming furious and angry with you. So try to avoid what triggers him. Try to always give him respect, no matter what he says. Never defend yourself when your father accuses you of something. Just apologize. Never argue and say, yes, but this and that. No, do not do this. And always anticipate the reward from Allah Azza wa Jal, and things inshallah will go through.